In the name of God. Mullah Nasruddin had a son whom he wanted to marry off. One day he said to his son, "My son, to tell you the truth, I don't have any money to give you, but I will give you a ram. Take it to the market and sell it, so we can use the money to arrange your wedding." The son said, "All right." He took the ram to the market and shouted, "Hey people, this ram is for sale." Buyers gathered around him. Among them were 3 brothers who noticed that the seller was a simple-minded boy. They made a plan to trick him and buy the ram for a very cheap price. They said, "This isn't a ram, it's a chick." No matter how much the boy said, "It is a ram," they insisted, "No, it's a chick." So he ended up selling the ram as if it were a chick for 5 coins, and then returned home. Mullah saw him and asked, "Did you sell the ram?" The boy replied, "Yes, I sold it for 5 coins. Everyone I showed it to kept saying it was a chick, so I had no choice but to sell it for the price of a chick." Mullah said, "Wait, I will take care of this." The next day he gave the boy a bull and told him to take it to the market and sell it, hoping that this time they could gather enough money for the wedding. The boy took the bull to the market. The same 3 shop-owning brothers were standing together, watching him. The boy thought to himself, "Maybe these men want to buy the bull." So he said, "Hey, I'm selling a bull. Don't you want it, brothers?" They said, "A bull? This isn't a bull, this is a ram." No matter how much the young man said, "It is a bull," they kept saying, "No, it's a ram." The young man, having no choice, sold the bull for 15 coins and returned home. Mullah asked, "How much did you sell the bull for?" The boy replied, "I sold it to the same 3 brothers who bought the ram for 15 coins. Mullah said, "It seems you're not my son. How could you sell a bull for the price of a ram?" He took the 15 coins from him and set off with 7 donkeys. He went to buy rice from the market. Halfway there, Mullah counted the donkeys. He saw 6 of them, 3 in front of him and 3 behind him. He got off and counted again. They were 7. He was puzzled and wondered, "What kind of mystery is this? When I'm riding, there are 6. When I get off, there are 7. So he decided not to take all the donkeys with him and took only 1 donkey to the market. As he got near the market, he tied a coin to the donkey's tail in such a way that it wouldn't be noticed. But it wasn't tied tight enough to stay on. A little shake would make it fall off. When he reached the crowded part of the market, he hit the donkey on the back with a stick. The donkey jumped and the coin fell to the ground. Mullah picked up the coin and put it in his pocket. In front of the 3 brothers' shop, he repeated the same trick again. The second brother said, "Look at this donkey! Coins are falling from it. How great would it be if we could buy it, brother?" The third one said, "He probably won't sell it." The second brother said, "No matter what, I'm going to buy it." He approached Mullah and asked, "Will you sell the donkey?" Mullah said, "No. If I sell this donkey, my children will die of hunger." They said, "Donkeys aren't rare. Sell this one and buy another." Mullah said, You can ask for anything you want, but don't ask me to give you this donkey." They said, "Don't say no to us." Mullah said, "Well, since you insist, I will sell it for 1,000 coins." The brothers bought the donkey for 1,000 coins. Mullah said, "Keep the donkey in an empty and quiet room. Put 1 measure of dates and 1 measure of raisins in front of it, and don't open the door for 3 days. After the 3rd day, the room will be full of coins." The brothers took the donkey into a room, poured 1 measure of dates and 1 measure of raisins in front of it, and 3 days later, when they came back, the door wouldn't open. They said to themselves, "The room must be full of money. That's why the door won't open." With great effort, they finally managed to open the door, and saw the donkey lying dead behind it. There was no sign of money anywhere. They said, "Let's go after Mullah. He has fooled us, and we must kill him." They headed toward Mullah's house. Mullah knew the brothers would come after him, so he bought 2 rabbits. He tied 1 rabbit in a corner of his house and tied a rope around the neck of the other rabbit and set off toward the town. On the way, he saw the brothers and asked, "Where are you going?" They replied, "We were coming to your house." Mullah said, "Coming without notice like that? Allow me to send my rabbit home to inform them, so they can prepare some food. It wouldn't be proper otherwise." Then loudly he said to the rabbit, "Hey, rabbit, go home and tell them to carpet the upper middle room, put the big pot on the stove, and light the samovar. We have guests." Mullah let the rabbit go, and the rabbit ran off. The brothers went to Mullah's house, and the rabbit was sitting in a corner of the room. One of the brothers said, "Brother, this rabbit is exactly what we need. We are busy and don't have much time. After lunch, no matter what, buy this rabbit." The other brother said, "Yes, that's a good idea." After they finished their lunch, one of the brothers said, "Will you sell the rabbit to us?" Mullah replied, "If I sell it, what will I do? If it hadn't delivered the message, we wouldn't have had anything to eat now." After bargaining for a while, they bought the rabbit for 400 coins. Mullah said, "Keep the rabbit in your house for a few days so it forgets its previous home." The brothers said, "All right, we'll do exactly as you said," and they left. 5 days passed. One of the brothers said to the rabbit, "Go to such and such town and tell so-and-so to give us the 100 coins he owes us." He released the rabbit. The rabbit ran off and never returned. They went to the debtor and said, "If you won't pay our money, fine. But why did you let the rabbit go?" The debtor said, "What rabbit? I haven't seen any rabbit." Then the brothers explained everything that had happened. The debtor said, "The man you're talking about is Mullah Nasruddin. He has definitely tricked you." The brothers became furious and said, "This time we will definitely kill him." And they headed toward Mullah's house. Mullah, who knew the brothers would come for him, said to his wife, "I will slaughter a sheep. Before they arrive, I will fill the intestines with blood, tie them around your neck, and you throw your shawl over it so it can't be seen. When the brothers come and sit down, I'll say, 'Get up and make tea for our guests.' They have come a long way and are tired. You say, "Oh, what trouble I'm in because of these gentlemen who show up every day. I've cooked so much and I'm so tired that I can't do anything anymore. Suddenly, I'll get angry, grab a knife, and put it to your neck. And the blood will start flowing. At that moment, you fall to the ground. Then I'll pick up a book, read from it, blow toward you, and tell you to get up, change your clothes, and bring tea. When the brothers see this, they'll go home and beat their wives, and even kill them." The wife said, "All right." Mullah slaughtered the sheep, tied the sheep's intestines filled with blood around his wife's neck, and prepared everything. When the brothers arrived, Mullah said, "Welcome. Your presence is an honor." Then he turned to his wife and said, "Get up and bring tea for the gentlemen." The wife said, "These gentlemen are a real curse. They fall from the sky every moment." Mullah became angry, stood up, grabbed a knife, and struck it at his wife's neck. Blood began to pour out. The brothers said, "What have we done? This poor man has killed his wife." Mullah said, "Don't be upset. I kill my wife, yes, but I read a few lines from this book, and she comes back to life." He picked up a book and began reading from it. He read and blew toward his wife until she got up, went to change her clothes, and brought the tea. One of the brothers whispered to the other, "This book would be very useful for us. After all, we're human. If someday we get angry and beat our wives and kill them, at least we can bring them back to life." Then he turned to Mullah and said, "Mullah, sir, will you sell this book?" Mullah said, "No, I need this book. How could I sell it?" One of the brothers said, "We have the same problem. Sell the book to us." After a long session of bargaining, they bought the book for 400 coins and left. Less than 3 days had passed when the eldest brother had an argument with his wife and struck her neck with a knife. But no matter how much he read from the book, the wife did not get up. He said nothing more and handed the book to the middle brother. The middle brother did the same to his wife, but again nothing happened. He also said nothing and passed the book to the youngest brother. The youngest brother kept the book and tried the same trick with his wife, but saw that it was useless. The next day, the youngest brother said to the others, "I cut off my wife's head, but no matter how much I read from the book, she does not move." "What did you do?" The other 2 brothers said, "We've had the same trouble as you." So they decided that this time they would kill Mullah, so they could finally be rid of him forever. Mullah, who knew the brothers were coming this time to kill him, came up with a plan. He told his wife, "I'm going to the cave near the town. When the brothers come, tell them to meet me there." Mullah mixed a strong poison into a pretty, colorful clay jar filled with sour cherry syrup. Then he picked up a thick, solid copper tray and strapped it under his shirt right over his stomach and chest. After that, he set the poisoned jar aside and poured himself a glass of normal sour cherry syrup with no poison and sat down to wait. The brothers got the directions to the cave from Mullah's wife. And with swords and clubs in hand, they went after Mullah, and shouted, "Mola, we're here to finish you off and take your life." Mola calmly took a sip from the safe syrup and with a laugh said, "You're late, way too late. I just drank the invincibility potion of Esfandiar. Now my body is hard as steel, and no blade or sword can hurt me. If you don't believe me, come hit me in the stomach with all your strength." The brothers, who didn't believe him, looked at each other. The oldest brother raised his sword and struck Mola's stomach with all his strength. The sound of metal hitting metal echoed loudly. The sword bounced back, and the brother's hand trembled, but Mola didn't even frown. Mola laughed and said, "See, I told you my skin has turned as hard as granite. You can keep hitting me until morning. You'll only tire yourselves out." The brothers, stunned and confused, dropped their sword. The middle brother, greedily, said, "Mola, is there any of that syrup left? If we drink it, no one will be able to stand against us. We could loot the whole marketplace, and nobody would be able to kill us." Mullah pretended to be reluctant and said, "This syrup is very expensive, and it's hard to make. But since you've been such good customers, I'll give you the rest of the jar for free. Just remember, since your bodies are about to turn to steel, you'll feel a burning sensation in your throat and stomach at first. You have to endure it for the magic to work." The brothers happily rushed toward the jar. They grabbed it and drank it down to the very last drop. A few moments later, their faces twisted in pain, and their throats began to burn. The youngest brother cried out, "Ah, my stomach, it's burning!" Mullah calmly said, "Hold on, your bodies are starting to harden. This is the pain of turning into steel." A few more seconds passed, and the brothers collapsed one by one, their bodies turning black as they died. When the last one took his final breath, Mullah pulled the copper tray out from under his shirt and said, "You were right. My body didn't become invincible, but my brain already was." May God bless you, because there was no cure for your stupidity. Mola smashed the jar and went on with his life in peace. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss more stories like this. If you enjoyed the video, we'd really appreciate your support with a like and a comment.